you to do the very first thing. Now, you don't have to do this one part right here. I'm just showing you. So the first thing that they've got here, the vial is 20 milliliters. You do not have to do this. You do not have to do this. Well, of course, you did. It's fine. You don't have to. If each dose is 1/8, so that means that every single dose, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Each dose, this is a dose, this is a dose, one dose, one dose, one dose, one dose, one dose, one dose. Each dose is an 8. They want to know how many mLs is one dose. 1/8 is how much? How much is one dose?
1/8.
So it's 1/8, but they want to know how much medicine is that. So if the entire vial is 20 mLs, one dose is 1/8 of the entire vial. How can you find out how much is in one dose? 1/8 of the 20 mLs. What do you do?
Multiply.
Have I taught you how to divide fractions yet? No. Of is the same thing as multiply. So 20 over 8. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, can you leave it like this?
No.
No. No, you cannot.
4.
All right, so you can do this one of two ways. So it says to express your answer as a decimal.
2.
So one thing that you can do is I can go ahead and make this a mixed fraction.
3.
So you do not leave your stuff improper. And I can go ahead and divide 8 into 20. And that would be 2, 16, and 4. 2 and 4 eighths. Which that simplifies down to 2 and 1/2. Express your answer as a decimal. So 2 and 1/2. If I have a whole number, that goes where? In front of the decimal. That's a whole number. That's a 1. 2 decimal. 1/2 times something to get to a power of 10.
5.
Goes to 10. 2 times 5. 5/10. 5/10, decimal 5, is always a half. 5/10. Always a half. Always.
So when you're doing it like that, so if you have any kind of half, you can already say, like if it's any number before, so you do whatever number 0.5.
If you have a whole number, it's in front of the decimal, and anything that would be equivalent to a half is 5/10. Half. Yes. So if I had 4 eighths, 3 6, 6 12s, any of those.
Okay.
Because 12 would go into 60 5 times. 8 goes into 40 5 times. 6 goes into 30 5 times. All of those are equal to 5/10. Man. So the other way, I was like, I had it and then I lost it. I could take this and go ahead and turn it into a decimal. 8. Can it go to 10?
No.
No. Can it go to 100?
Yeah.
Yes. 8 times anything?
Well,
No. Or 25. But that would be a whole lot harder, so I would much rather do this one.
Okay, so I got halfway there. I didn't think we did this.
Right. I would not want to do that one. So yeah, I would do this one. 2 and 5/10. So each dose is 2 and 5/10 of a milliliter. One dose. Uh-huh. So that's the easiest problem you're going to do today.
Okay, so addition.
That's not the only problem you're doing.
Oh, I'm excited.
Oh wait, this one was actually pretty easy. A container holds 7/10 liters of oil and vinegar. Oil and vinegar. 3/4 of the mixture is vinegar. How many liters of vinegar are in the container? Express your answer as both a fraction and a decimal. Okay. What fraction is vinegar? 3/4. So, what's funny is I've said that you don't do a fraction of a decimal. And I've actually seen them do it on here, but I don't like mixing the two. So, what should you do to that number right there, the 7/10?
Turn it into a fraction.
Turn it into a fraction. How do you say it?
7/10.
7/10. 7/10. So how do you write it?
7/10.
7/10. That's why I wrote you so much as to how to say it correctly and not 0.7. 7/10. How you say it is how you write it. 3/4. Put it on the file box. 3/4 of 7/10. 21/40. That is it.
Wait, what?
It's not a decimal. That's a fraction. It says as a fraction and a decimal. That's a multiple of 10. 7/10. This is a power of 10. I'm not making this. This is my how much of it is vinegar as a fraction. Now, whoa. So this is my fraction. Now I have to turn this into a decimal. 3/4 of 7/10. I did it. What, Hadley?
We haven't been doing it. Like, we haven't been doing like this. No, you said find the power of 10. Yeah.
To do a decimal?
I didn't even do that.
So 21/40. Now, it might be more difficult to think about 40 getting to a power of 10. So, but think about 4. If you know 2, you know 20. So if you know 4, you know 40. So can 4 get to 10?
No.
No. So can 40 get to 100?
No.
No. I'm taking the 0 off and I'm putting the 0 back on. Can 4, let's see, 4 could get to, let's see, 4 could not do 10. So 40 could not do 100. Can 4 do 100?
Yes.
Yes. So can 40 do 1,000?
Yes.
Yes. How many times could 4 do 100?
25.
25. You see that I was kind of covering up the zeros as I did that? Even though you can still kind of see them because it's a smart one. So how many times would 4 do 100?
25.
25. 21 times 25.
525. Yeah.
Bring it in 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I had a little revolt there for a second. Holy. 7 tenths. Decimal 7. Same thing as 7 tenths. Goodness gracious. What are you going to do when the problems get really hard? Learn to live with it. Okay. Andre, now there are a few different ways that you can solve this problem. Okay? There's more than one way to solve this problem. More than one way. Yes, you are. Andre completed a 5-kilometer race in 13 and 5/10 minutes. Runs fast. His sister's time was 1.5 times longer than his time. How long in minutes did it take his sister to run the race? So, is this important? No, you don't even need the 5 kilometers. That's not even important. They're not asking you anything about kilometers. They're not asking you about anything about meters. Nothing. You need to know that he completed it in 13.5 minutes, 13.5, 13 and 5/10. His sister's time was 1.5 times longer. And they want to know, how long did it take his sister to run the race?
Oh.
So I want to see if you can figure that out. What is the decimal for half?
0.5. It's 14. It's 14.
15, 17. I need to find out how much this is. So she did 1.5 times longer. I need to figure out her time. So she did 1.5. 1 is the full time that he did, plus 1/2 a time longer. So 1/2, 5/10. I need to figure out half of 13 and 5/10. So half times 13 and 5/10. 13 and 5/10 times 5/10. Because 5/10 is 1/2. Say that. 5/10 is 1/2. Every time you see 1/2, it's always equal to 5/10. Every time. Every time. So 1 decimal, 1 decimal. So 6 and 75/100. 6 and 75/100. So this one is 13 and 5/10. That's your 1. 6 and 75/100. That's your half. 13 and 5/10 plus 6 and 75/100. 5, 2, 1, 4, 10, 2. 20, close but no cigar. 20 and 25/100. It's hard when you read it, but then when I show it to you, you go, oh my gosh. So with this problem, I'm comparing boys and girls. You're going to have to bear with me on this one, okay? Because this is very think outside the box kind of problem. Okay? I've got boys and I've got girls. All right? You're going to have to, like, relax your mind, Morgan. You ready?
Yes.
If there are 3/4 as many boys as girls, so how many units, how many parts?
4.
Right there. My girls get 4. How many do my boys get? 3. Why? 3/4 as many. So my boys only get 3/4. My denominator tells me how many. 3 out of 4. So my boys only get 3 out of 4. My girls get my 4 out of 4. Okay? I know it's a wonky kind of way to solve the problem, but it's the only way to solve the problem. There's one like it. That's why I'm showing you how to solve it. This is the only way to solve it. Out of 35 people, it should kind of jump out at you now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now it's kind of like, oh, duh. The hardest part is figuring out this. That's the only part that makes you kind of go, what? 7 units. 35 divided by 7 equals 5. Each one of these is 5. How many are girls?
27.
How many are girls? 20.
And now 15.
20. The hard part is this. That right there. That's the hard part.
Is there going to be like another one practice like this one?
I've got to know.
Wait. 5.
Well, because 1, 2, 3, 4 times 5. 5 times 4 is 4 times 5.
Okay.
Okay. On a boat tour. This is same type of problem. I just skipped ahead. On a boat tour, there are half as many children as there are adults. So I know that I've got children and adults. So I'm labeling as they're telling me. Half. So I'm going to look at the number 1/2. So for children, I only have
5.
For children, I only have 1. And 1 is half of 1 is half of. So the adults get 2 units. I don't even know. There are 30 people on the tour. So each unit gets 10. How many children are there? 10. Okay, so you can't say that there are 15 children. You can't say half of 30 is 15. That's not how it works. Because if you listen, half as many children as there are adults, it's not, you can't do half of 30. Half as many children as there are adults. This is the last problem we're going to do. You really want to do this problem. If you don't want to do it, that's fine, but if you really want to do this problem. An artist builds a sculpture out of metal and wood. So it's got metal and wood. It weighs a total of 14 9/10 kilograms. So we've got 4 units. 3/4 is metal, and the rest is wood. How much does the wood part of the sculpture weigh? So can you do, is it easy to do a fraction of a decimal?
No.
No. So you either need to turn this into a decimal or this into a fraction. Because I already said that before. So it would be easier to turn this into a decimal. Because this would be a mixed fraction, and then you would have to turn it into an improper, because you cannot multiply a mixed fraction by a fraction. You'd have to sit there and turn it an improper, and then it would just be a hot mess. So 1/4 times something equal a power of 10. So that would be 100, 25, 25. So 2,500. So 14 9/10 times 2,500. 5, 4, 24, 2, 7, 0, 8, 1, 9, 2, 5, 7, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 and 725,000.